Off his assertion last month that Barack Obama doesn't love America, former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani has another hot take on the president. He should be more like another famous black man. Wait for it. Bill Cosby.
70% of the homicides in New York City are committed by African Americans. That there are many extremely understandable reasons for it historically and environmentally. And if an African American president stood up and said, I hate to mention it because of what happened afterwards, the kinds of stuff that Bill Cosby used to say, this is our responsibility.
He hates to mention it because of what happened afterwards. And make no mistake, what happened afterwards was the press finally paying attention to public allegations against Bill Cosby, which date back to 2005 and which he has consistently denied. But then last year, with literally dozens of women coming forward with allegations they were drugged and raped by the comedian, allegations that, if true, paint a monstrous picture of predatory behavior, it became impossible to ignore. And as a result, though he's never been charged and has continued to deny all allegations against him, Cosby has experienced a pretty epic fall from grace. What happened before was most of us pretending we'd never heard of the allegations against Bill Cosby, who held himself up as the arbiter of moral probity in the black community.
We knew how to fight. We knew how to protect our children, protect our women. Today, in lower economic areas, some people, not all, some people are not contributing to that protection. And the character correction has not happened. Many times it's the TV set, a BET or videos played. Kids look at it and they admire it.
According to Rudy Giuliani, that Bill Cosby, the one who at that point had already been sexual assault, the one who now stands accused of sexual assault as recently as 2008, that's whose example President Obama should follow. I'm joined now by Congressman Jeffries, Democrat from New York, who represents parts of Brooklyn and Queens. Congressman, what do you think of former Mayor Giuliani's suggestion?
Well, Chris, good evening. This falls into the category of you can't make this stuff up. I mean, this is another Rudolph Giuliani divorce from reality moment. I just can't really figure out. He's completely lost control. Now, I had the opportunity to survive 8 years of Rudy Giuliani as mayor, and he was widely known for his mean-spiritedness at this point, but this is something very different. This almost requires sort of a clinical intervention in terms of his reference to Bill Cosby, of all people, at this moment. The facts here are important, and clearly Rudolph Giuliani has not paid attention to the facts. Since President Obama first set foot at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, he has consistently talked about responsibility within the African-American community, particularly as it relates to black fathers. Black fathers, in some instances, who had not been actively involved in their children's lives. This took place with some degree of regularity every Father's Day. He would regularly appear in a black church. In fact, Chris, there were some African Americans who accused the president of being too harsh and not recognizing the fact.
There were many who said that he was playing this ridiculous game of respectability politics that harkened back to the pound cake speech of a man named Bill Cosby when he was touring around the country telling people to pull their pants up.
That's absolutely correct. And so the president has been extremely balanced in his approach. He recognizes that there are historic issues. He recognizes that the overwhelming majority of people in the African community are law-abiding citizens who contribute to this great country. There's a small fraction of individuals who haven't displayed personal responsibility, who've engaged in irresponsible acts, but that's no different in many ways than almost any other community. Rudolph Giuliani consistently fails to point out that 80% of the violent acts against white Americans are committed by white Americans. Certainly, we've got a black-on-black violence issue that we've got to deal with. It's very complex. Many of us are focused on trying to resolve it. But, you know, this race baiting that Rudolph Giuliani continues to engage in, this taunting of the president, is certainly beneath the mayor's former office that he held, and really has shown a sad, pathetic degradation in terms of his public persona.
What do you think he's doing? I'm curious about the role that Rudy Giuliani has seemed to carve out for himself in the last 6 months as the kind of scourge of the Black Lives Matter movement, as the person who's on the other side of the protesters that we've been seeing across the country, sort of demanding equality and accountability.
Well, this is not inconsistent with Rudolph Giuliani's unfortunate history. As you probably recall, Chris, in that first campaign in 1989 when he ran against David Dinkins, there was a lot of concern with some of the coded language that was used, not just by candidate Giuliani, but by many of his supporters. He infamously appeared at a police riot that took place in front of City Hall. It was widely characterized as such during the Dinkins administration when some members of the NYPD gathered at City Hall, some in mob-like fashion. Rudolph Giuliani gave a very red meat type of speech there. And there have been many other instances where he's displayed insensitivity or irresponsibility, even during his mayoralship. Yep. What seems to be happening right now is just this quest for relevance. And it really is unfortunate in the manner in which he has communicated over the last few weeks.
Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, thank you very much.
Thank you.